Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, I hope everyone had a wonderful. I know that we did. We just got back. I was in California all week, and Michelle was in New York all week, and we're back in Texas, and looking forward to this great show at the beginning of the week. Because we're going to talk about something that I know, regardless of whether you're a health nut or I mean, whatever that might be, whatever your eating habits, sometimes we find ourselves eating a lot of processed food. And processed food is what the expert says most of the time is not good for you. But we got an expert on today that's going to talk to us about that and how processed food could also affect your mental and your brain. Your mental stability in your brain as well. You know what? I'm here to learn all about all of those great things. But before I even get started, before we bring this great guest on, I got to always introduce the executive producer and co-host, Dr. Michelle Denise Cooley. How are you doing today, Doc?
I'm doing fine, James. How are you?
Well, I'm excited about the show today. And so I'm excited that we both made it back here safely from our ventures over the last 8 days. And I'm ready.
Oh yeah, it was eight. Yeah, you were in California and I was in New York visiting family. We had a great trip. Had a lot to do. And it was good. It was a great time for both. But yeah, I'm excited about this topic today because I'm telling you, a very like a huge percentage of Americans have a lot of processed food in their refrigerator because
I
it's
mean,
quick. It's quick to cook. Let's just put it that way.
well, we got some after we get through talking to this guest today. I might go downstairs and just throw all of it out,
Oh,
throw
good
it in the
God.
garbage can. But I want to get the show started. But I want to also congratulate all of our viewers and our subscribers, especially our YouTube subscribers. We went over 8,000 subscribers last week. Wow, 8,000 subscribers. But that ain't good enough. Now I'm greedy. I want 15,000, then I want 100, then I want, and so you can help us out just by clicking on YouTube, subscribing to the channel, and wherever you're watching this at, whether it's on television, E360 TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, over Facebook, whatever, over 25, 30 other live streaming network. Welcome to the show. And if you want to be part of the conversation, whatever you're watching it on, just go to the comments and that's this great guest that Michelle is getting ready to introduce. Any questions you like. Michelle, I cannot take it no more. Let's get it started. Can you tell us the title of the show and the purpose of the show and introduce this absolutely fantastic guest?
Yes, well, the title of today's show is called Americans Are Addicted to Ultra Processed Foods and It's Killing Your Brain. And we're getting to know Udo Erasmus, the health and wellness expert, author, and co founder of Udo's Choice supplement brand. We're going to talk about how more than half of the food intake in North America is now drawn from ultra processed products and how the steady consumption can trigger mental and emotional problems. And we're also going to discuss and compare America's food quality versus other countries. So let's talk about this guest today, Udo Erasmus. Udo's pioneering work in health and wellness started over 40 years ago. As a prominent voice of the healthy fats oils movement, Udo raised manufacturing standards of food oils, including flax oil. In 1994, he co-founded the Udo's Choice supplement brand, a global leader in cutting-edge health products specializing in healthy oils, probiotics, digestive enzymes, and greens. Udo is an accomplished author of several books, including Fats That Heal, Fats That Kill, with 250,000 plus copies sold, with an extensive education in biochemistry and biology and a master's degree in counseling psychology. He has impacted millions of lives by delivering his fresh message on how to achieve perfect health. The James Cooley Show welcomes Udo Erasmus to the show.
Udo, how you doing, sir? Welcome to the show.
Hi,
Welcome to the
thank you.
show. So how was your weekend, sir?
Oh, was there a weekend? You know what? I don't live by weekends. I just do work. I do work that I love. I don't keep calendars except when I do shows. I have to pay attention a little bit, right? But I live a charmed life because I'm doing what I love. And I wrote 20 pages for a course that I'm putting together yesterday.
Wow. I'm talking about when you're doing something that you love. I mean, it's not even work.
It's not
It's
work.
fun and it's joy. So Udo,
Exactly.
can you tell our listeners, our viewers, where you at, where you grew up, and just tell them a little bit about you?
Okay. Well, I'm a war baby. I was born during the Second World War in 1942 in Poland, which was at that time part of Germany. And I was a refugee kid when I was 2.5. We were running, fleeing from the communists who were chasing us in tanks and trucks down dirt roads, women with young children in horse-drawn hay wagons, and the Allies, these are the good guys, the Allies were using us as target practice. They were shooting at us from planes. And we made it out. I got left behind. I was in an orphanage for a while. We eventually got reunited. It was really, really, really crazy. But it was a gift because it rubbed my nose very early in how bad things can get when we don't live consciously. And so, my whole life has always been about how can we make it better, and whether that's health or whether that's social or whether it's political, how can we make it better? That's all I'm ever interested in because it can get really bad when we don't pay attention.
Wow. So Udo, you have an extensive background in biochemistry and biology. I mean,
Yeah.
both of those are major career fields.
Mm.
What is so special about those two that inspired you to dig deep and do some of the things that you're doing right now?
Well, if you're alive and you look at this planet, what makes it special, it has life on it. And life is called bio in Greek. And I wanted to know everything I could about life. So when it came to studying, okay, I want to study life, biology, biochemistry. And so because it's so fascinating how everything works, how molecules are put together and how, you know, glands work and organs work and how muscles contract and, how reproduction works. And I mean, you start thinking about it, it's like, oh my God, to be a creature is amazing. Right? And here we are, creatures. Well, I want to know everything I can about creatures. And it does, humans, animals, plants, because life on this planet, that's what makes Earth special. Our life is really special. And
Life is
yeah, go ahead.
no, I'm getting ready to say life is very, very special,
Yeah,
and we all have to make sure that we understand that.
yeah.
And
Or feel it, experience it. Wow, it's amazing. I'm alive. I won't be alive for a long time, but I'm alive now. So this is the party. Make the most of the party. That's the life in your body. That's the party. That's the big party.
that's the big part. But you also you mentioned something about life is important and like experience it and biochemistry and biology. But you got a master's in psychology counseling. How
Mm.
does all of those play into effect to help you convey and do the things that you're doing right now?
Well, when I was 6 years old, I heard people argue, and it made me uncomfortable because it was always intense. And I said, man, there must be a way that human beings can live together in harmony. And this little cocky voice came out and said, well, I'm going to figure out how. And when it came to studying, I wanted to know how things work. So I went into science. Then I got into biological sciences, how creatures work. Then I got into psychology, how thinking works. Because if you're trying to figure out how people can live in harmony, you need to know how all those things work. So that's why I got into psychology. Also, when my marriage broke up, I figured I needed to learn some things about how the brain works and psychology and how relationships work. And so that was also part of the reason why I got into psychology.
Wow. So today we're talking about, the name of the show is called American Are Addicted to Ultra Processed Foods
Yeah.
and they're killing their brain or it's killing our brains. Why did you come up with that title and tell our audience the significance or
Well,
getting
if you think about it, your body is made out of food, water, and air. And in nature, food, water, and air were in their natural state. So every creature in nature eats every food, fresh, whole, raw, and organic, except for us. We think we're smarter than nature and smarter than God, so we fry everything, right? We invented frying pans to wreck our food, and then the foods wreck us. Because when you fry foods, they fry your health. When you fry oils, they fry your health, right? And processing of all of the problems, the physical problems we have, processing is responsible for the majority of them because we're taking things out of foods that should be in them and we're putting things in food that shouldn't be in there. And then we eat it. And then then that becomes our body. So we end up with processed bodies and maybe toxicity in our bodies. And we're not getting some nutrients we need. And life is really smart at making bodies, but we have to make sure we bring the building blocks in. And when we don't do that, that wrecks not just the body, it wrecks everything. Wrecks the body, wrecks the brain, wrecks the organs, wrecks the glands. And that's where most of our degenerative diseases come from, living out of line with nature.
Well, I have to totally agree with you. I mean, you just mentioned something, and I think I was thinking about frying something later on today, for dinner. But that, yeah, no, you got my attention. But yes, you're absolutely right. We do fry stuff, a lot of processed food, and we got to be aware of the damage that is doing to our bodies, and also the influence that it has on our kids and our grandkids, because they watch us eat all these things and they feel that that's the way things should be. But we're gonna take a station break. We're gonna take a station break. We're gonna take a station break, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna pick this up. We're gonna talk a lot more, and we're really gonna delve off into some of the issues and concerns about processed food and how it's hurting us. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll be back shortly after the break.
You fight against. And if you want my opinion, I'll let it take me away.
Options, Opportunities, Lasting Choice Program. Our primary mission is to help build the foundation of our youth and young adults and communities. And we encourage everyone to dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. And the way that you do that is, first of all, you got to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you are here for a purpose. You also have to be able to step out your comfort zone and do things that you probably didn't think that you can do. Welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and I got my absolutely fantastic guest here, Udo, and he's educating us. I already started. The education already started on some of the issues and concerns as it relate to processed food, as we putting it in our body, and how that affect our mind, body, and soul. It affects everything, and we just have to understand some of the effects and have to educate ourselves that sometimes we might want to just push back on that a little bit. And so if wherever you're watching this at, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is go to the comments, ask this great man any question. I get it on the screen and we'll get you an answer. Udo, I just want to get back to what you were saying toward the end, and it as it relate to not just America, but people all around the world. In your opinion, why are Americans consuming a high percentage of ultra processed food, especially when they are aware of some of the dangers?
Well, I I think it's worse in America because in many places in the world, the cultures are much older and they have habits and cultural eating habits that come from a long time ago before ultra processing was the big deal. So that probably is the main reason. The culture in North America is a very young culture. It's only a couple hundred years, whatever, 300 years. In Europe and in Asia, you're talking about hundreds, not thousands of years actually. So so that's probably one of the reasons for the difference. But the other reason is that people, when they don't feel like their life, when they're not uplifted, when they're not excited, when they're not lit up from within, then they get depressed and it's like, oh, everything's too much work, and taking the care that I need to take to not just do what's convenient. That's all too much work, so I'm just not going to do it. And then out of that comes that then you get even less energy and you really go into a spiral. Less energy, then you do stupider things, then you have even less energy, then you get sick, then you have even less energy, and it basically builds on itself. And we're like, human beings are a little stupid sometimes. We're not stupid, but we act stupid.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we
Yeah.
act stupid. Now, one thing that you did mention is American. Sometimes, just like what you were saying, how bad are American food qualities and emotional health compared to other countries? You got any data on that?
Well, there's you can probably find something on Google. Google will get you everything except yourself, So you have a question, you can go to Google and answer it. But I would, everybody around the world fries foods now. And the industry that makes the oils, that damages the oils, and that processes the oils, they promoted that. And they promote it as a convenience. And so when I've traveled around the world, everywhere, everybody fries everything. Now, when I was a kid, we didn't fry everything because the oil industry is only 120 years old, right? It started around 1900. Well, I wasn't around in 1900, but the first part of the 20th century, most people cooked their food in water and then added oils. That's what they did in the Mediterranean with olive oil. They didn't fry olive oil. They cooked their food in water, then they dumped the water off, then they added oil because it enhances flavors and absorbs oil-soluble nutrients better. So they added the oil afterwards. And then the industry started making oils and it said, oh, no, cook in oil, it's quicker. They didn't tell us that it was better, that you burn the food. When you burn the food, you've changed it. That's not raw food. That's not how nature makes food. Then you eat the burnt stuff. That's all toxic molecules. And then when you burn the food, when you overheat the food, whether it's starch or protein or fats, all three of them increase inflammation in your body, and all three of them increase your risk of cancer, independent of each other. So what we're doing by the processing of industry, we take out things and put bad things, take out good things and put out bad things. And then we do it in our kitchen too. And then we're doing it to ourselves. The dumbest thing we ever invented to do to our food from a health perspective is learning how to fry foods in oils. Dumbest thing we ever invented.
Wow. Yeah, that's the dumbest thing. Okay.
So
Now
I tell people, you got a frying pan at home? Of course, everybody does. Go get it. Go get your frying pan, pull it out, turn it upside down, hit yourself upside the head with it so that it's associated with pain, and then throw that stupid thing out. And go back to
man.
and then go back to cooking in water or eating things raw.
Oh man, I tell you, we got a international audiences weighing in on this, and I just wherever you're watching this out in the world, I thank you. You know,
I wish I could hear the sound that it makes when you hit yourself on the head with it. You know, around the world, we should make a hit yourself on the head with a frying pan day. That would be celebrate around the world.
Wow. You know, reading, just doing our research and our background on you, you write essentially about omega-3s and a lot of other type of oils. Can you tell our audience and our viewers why it's so important that we make sure that we have enough omega-3 in our system? Why is that not just only better for us, but it's better for life and others as well?
Yeah. Well, omega-3 is an essential nutrient. And there are 42 essential nutrients. They include 18 minerals, 13 vitamins, 9 essential amino acids that come from protein, and 2 essential fatty acids that come from oils. And omega-3 essential fatty acid is the single most widespread nutrient deficiency of our time. And the reason for that is that omega-3s are only found in large quantities closer to the poles, not so much in the tropic. There's omega-3s everywhere, but they're very, very important in the cold climates. And so much more foods grow in cold climates that contain omega-3s. When you look at all the cooking oils or the oils that we use in our foods, all of those oils contain omega-6, which is one of the essential fatty acids, and virtually none of them contain omega-3s. Like there's about 3 or 4 oils that contain some omega-3s, small amounts. And all the rest of the different oils, there's like dozens of them, they don't contain omega-3s. So they're harder to get. They're also 5 times more sensitive to damage than the omega-6s. So the industry doesn't really want to work with them because they need care. You have to protect them from light, from oxygen, from heat. You can't use them for frying. You have to keep them in your refrigerator. So there's lots of more issues that you have to take more care. And an industry that wants products with a very long shelf life so they can go global with them does not want to give oils the kind of care they need.
Well, you mentioned omega-6 and omega-3, and and my understanding is most of the omega comes from the sea. I'm talking about fish and other animals. Can you explain the difference between both, and where would you get this omega-3 in order to process it into the right form that people can consume?
Yeah, so omega-3 and omega-6 both come from plants. And they're essential fatty acids, which means you got to have them to live and be healthy. You can't make them in your own body from anything else. So you have to get them in from outside. That's one. Number 2 is if you don't get enough, you cannot stay healthy. Your health will deteriorate. And if you don't get enough long enough, you die. This is the definition of those 42 essential nutrients I mentioned before. The third part is that if your health is going down because you're not getting enough of any essential nutrient, but before you die, you bring it back into the diet in adequate quantities, then all of the problems that come from not getting enough are reversed, because life knows how to build a body if you take responsibility for making sure you provide optimum amounts of all of the essential building blocks it needs in order to make that body. So that's what essential means. And omega-3 and omega-6 are both essential by that definition, along with the 18 minerals, 13 vitamins, and 9 essential amino acids.
Well, you mentioned, they come from plants, but in most people understanding when omega-3, omega-6 fish, or we're thinking that at least me, myself, I was thinking that it was primarily from salmon and tuna and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. So let me explain that to you. The omega-3s in fish are essential fatty acid derivatives. That means they're made from the omega-3s in plants in your body. They're not essential fatty acids, but the advertising of the fish oil industry calls them essential fatty acids. And they're actually lying to you. They're lying to you because if you optimize your intake of the essential fatty acid, which is called alpha-linolenic acid, if you optimize that, your body can make the EPA and DHA that fish oils contain. So you don't need, most people do not need fish oil. Most people don't get enough of the essential fatty acids that they need in order to make those derivatives. And so, that's the word, and the research has always said your body can convert them. And the fish oil says, no, your body can't convert them. But the research has been saying that for 30 years. So you're being misinformed, and you're being misinformed for the sake of sales. I hate it. Don't you hate it when people lie to you?
I mean, you know what? I truly hate it when people lie to me. And this is education and discussion. I mean, you just laid out something that I'm sure that many of our viewers and our listeners probably had a misconception of how this is done. But you know what? We're going to take a station break. But I want to come back, and I want you to tell our audience some of the signs that in the bodies and humans that will show up when you got a deficiency, when you are low on omega-3, omega-6. And I'll tell you what, if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is go to the comments. Ask this great man any questions that you like, and I promise I'll get it on the screen. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll see you shortly after the break.
I never wanna leave. Yeah, I'm right where I wanna be. We got something you and me, and I can't get rid of this feeling. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Hey, I'm so drawn to you. I'm so drawn to you.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Life is a series of circles and cycles, phrases and stages. These experiences teach you the lessons of life. You can either ignore them or embrace them. Welcome to It's Your Life with James Cooley. James is a motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation. James is here to equip you to strive for greatness and overcome adversity. It's time to get you equipped today for the challenges of tomorrow. Now, here's the host of It's Your Life, James Cooley.
It's your life.
Hello, welcome back to It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, with my absolutely fantastic guest, Udo. And I tell you, he's educating us on a lot of things that we might have thought we knew about. As it relate to right now, we're talking about omega-3, omega-6, fish oil, etc. Um, just like I said prior to the break, I did not know that omega-3, grew. It was a plant, but then it is because regardless who consuming it, like fish or whatever, they're eating plants, they're eating seaweed, they're eating all these type of things to make sure that they stay healthy. And I hope you're learning as much as I am, but we got to pick it up and get some more. If you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments, ask this great guest any question you like, and I promise I'll get it on the screen. So Udo, my question is, is there any signs that that we can see, I'm talking about physically see in others, where you get a glimpse or you get a thought that they are not, they don't have all the right nutrition, they're not eating right, or it's signs that shows that there's a deficiency, especially when it comes to omega-3 and omega-6. Don't know if there is any, but if it is, can you tell us about it?
Yeah. By the way, before I say anything else, congratulations on your nominations.
Actually, we received those, and thank you.
Oh, you
so
already
much.
got them. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations on the nomination and the reception.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So when you talk about what happens when you don't get enough, well, one of the first places you'll notice your skin. Your skin will get dry, or you lose more. You'll need to drink more water because you're losing more water through your skin, because the essential fatty acids form a barrier in the skin against the loss of moisture. They're the best way to moisturize your skin from within with essential fatty acids that are made with health in mind. So that's one. But for omega-3s, particularly, low energy is one of the reasons, because omega-3 is the highest energy molecule of all of our essential nutrients, and it increases oxygen metabolism, it increases energy level, it increases your ability to perform. In athletes, we showed that when they took enough of the oils made with health in mind, in 30 days, their stamina was increased by 40 to 60%. If they did their sport to exhaustion, 40% increase in 30 days, taking oils made with health in mind in the right ratio of omega-3 and omega-6. And the omega-3s have that energy effect. And we've done that with strength and endurance athletes very consistently. They, runners, cyclists, bodybuilders, the boxers said their reflexes were sharper. Martial artists, weightlifters. I mean, we've worked with a lot of athletes. You get more energy. That's probably the biggest thing you notice. And then when it comes to focus, people focus better. That means they learn better. And there's research that shows that if you increase omega-3s in the diet, you can increase IQ by 3 to 9 points. And there's basically, if you summarize the research on omega-3s, you can say it in one sentence. If you increase omega-3s in the diet, and they're not damaged and they're not toxic, you can improve virtually every major degenerative condition of our time. That's a pretty big statement, but it's because 99% of the population doesn't get enough for optimum health. Every cell needs them. Every cell can do its job better when it has enough, and most people don't get enough. And they're essential. The body can't make them out of anything else. So if you're not getting enough, that has to affect every cell in your body. That's why it's so important.
Wow. A lot of people eat out a lot, and even when you preparing your food at home, and many are not even thinking about omega-3 or this and that. I mean, you eat out, the restaurants, the food have very little omega-3, and at home, when we're cooking and preparing a meal for our families, We don't think about that one. But you wrote about that this could cause some mental and behavior disorders.
Mhm.
And can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'll tell you that a study that some people did in the UK. They had a school in the UK where they housed, what we call the punks, the kids that were too young to be allowed to quit school, but they were disruptive and violent, so they took them out of the school system, put them in a special school. There were 42 kids in that school. And they heard about the work that I've done with oil, and they decided to test the oil on these kids. So every day they gave the kids 1 tablespoon of the oil. And they used to have with those 42 kids, they'd have about 84, somewhere between 80 and 90 acts of violence every month that adults would have to come in and interfere because somebody was going to get really hurt. So they had like 80 to 90 of those. So they gave them a tablespoon of oil every day. And the first month, nothing happened. Then they continued. They gave them a tablespoon every day for the second month. Second month, nothing happened. And the third month, they gave them a tablespoon of oil every day. And the incidence of violence went down from over 80 to, I think it was 16. So literally the violence went down by 80%. And they found out that when new kids came into the school, the kids in the school, we beat the crap out of them. And they did it all the time. And what happened is the third month, when their violence changed, they also began to welcome new kids into the school and help them to get adjusted to the new environment without the teachers doing anything to encourage them to do that. So I started thinking, well, there must be some socialization circuits in the brain that require omega-3s, but there's no research yet to prove that. I don't know what those circuits are, but that's pretty remarkable that just giving them the oil improved their brain function, improved their social behavior without any external push. I found that super interesting. Now, we do know that the brain, if you take the water out of the brain, it's over 60% fat, and about half of that fat is omega-3s.
I was going to talk to you, mention that about the brain and the nervous system. You just brought that up. So when there is a deficiency there, have studies showed that, I know you talked about the violence in kids, but what about in people in general, adults and the population?
Yeah, better stamina, longer endurance, both physical endurance and like I talked about in sports, but also mental endurance. One day I was in my 60s. I'm going to be 81 this year. So when I was in my 60s, I had a project to do, and I have pretty good concentration, but it has a limit. So I had to do this project. I worked all day. I worked all through the night, and I worked the entire next day. So we're talking about like 40 hours. 40 hours up working on a project without any sleep. And I couldn't do that. Before I started using oils, I couldn't do that. So I've seen it in my own life that the stamina and the ability to concentrate improves. I've had people call me. A woman called me one day. She said, my daughter's 13. She used to get A's, but now she doesn't have any concentration. She can't sit still for more than 5 minutes. They call it attention deficit hyperactivity or whatever they call it. And her marks are going down. So I said, how big is what does she weigh? He said 140 pounds. I said, so give her 3 tablespoons of Udo's oil and see what happens. Because I didn't know, would it help her or not? Because you don't know. I had never seen the kid. I don't know what her story is. So what happens is a few months later, she called me back. She's crying on the phone. She said, I can't believe it. I gave her the 3 tablespoons of oil a day, and she's back. She's sitting in front of her computer 45 minutes. She's got focus back. She's got her A's back, completely changed it. Now, that doesn't happen with every case of attention deficit hyperactivity, because there may be other reasons for that. But I can tell you, for this person, it made a difference. And it was just literally the omega-3s that are responsible for that.
Wow. You know, I'm interested in the next segment where we're going to talk about Udo oils and and a lot of that great other great stuff that you're doing. We've got a question from Joshua Goldsmith. It said, diet versus exercise. Which is more important? Where should we be shopping, and what kinds of food would you recommend?
Yeah. Okay. There was a guy who said exercise was most important, and he didn't pay attention to food. His name was Jim Fixx. And at 52, he died of a massive heart attack while he was running. So the idea to say exercise is not important, that's just stupid, because the body is made for activity. And if you say food is not important, that's stupid too, because the body is made out of food. So you need them both. Your body is made out of food for activity. What should the food look like? It should be in line with nature. Whole foods, fresh, whole, raw, organic. For human beings, mostly plant-based. That's what the food should look like. And if you go around the outside of your grocery store, is where you find your vegetables and your fruits and your nuts and seeds, you know, and maybe your spices. Buy that. Don't buy the stuff in the middle. That's where all the processed, packaged, prepared foods are, right? And then cook your own food or eat them raw. I eat mostly raw food because I don't feel like cooking. Cooking is too time consuming for me. I have other things to do, right? So what do? I eat it the way nature makes it, and it's less work, and it turns out to be healthier too, right? Wow. So it's kind of like you can get healthier by doing less, because most of what we do when we cook foods, you know, if we cook them in water, we lose some of the minerals out of the food. We damage some of the more sensitive amino acids. We destroy the enzymes that digest raw foods, 60% for us. We kill the probiotics on the foods if they were even on there. So we're already making changes by cooking in water. But when we fry them, not only do we lose nutrients, but we also create toxic molecules on top of that. And then we stuff them in our mouths. And life, you know, if life had a voice, you know, it would be yelling out of your stomach, "What the hell are you doing to me?" Right? You know, or it would say, "I can't work with this stuff you're feeding me." Right?
Hold that thought. We got to take a station break. But we're going to come back. We're going to pick it up. And hey, Joshua, I hope that answers your question. If not, go ahead on and go back to the comments. And this great man right here, he's going to get you some answers. But if you want to be part of the conversation, just go to the comments, ask Udo any question you want. When we come back, we're going to start talking about some of the oils that he created and some of the other things he's doing. It's your life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll see you shortly after the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, with my fantastic guest, Udo, who's educating us on all of these great things that relate to our mind, body, and soul. I'm talking about processed foods, how a lot of stuff that we digest and ingest is killing or having an effect on your mental, physical, and emotional will, especially the brain. And so I know that many of you are getting the same type of lesson that I'm getting, and I know the light done came on, but Udo, we're gonna have to keep the light on. We have to keep the light on. And Udo, you manufacture some of your own products, oils, and etc. First of all, can you tell our listeners and viewers what some of those things are, and what's the benefit? Uh,
Yeah. So I got poisoned by pesticides in 1980. It's a long story. I was very careless and it was really stupid. And the doctors didn't have anything to help me. And I had background in biochemistry and genetics and biology. And so I went into the research to look at how could I heal myself. And the idea is that your body is always turning over. 98% of the atoms in your body that are in your body today will have been removed and replaced if you and I meet a year from now. 98%. So what that means is when you get sick, physically sick, then if you raise your standard for food intake, then in 1 year, you will have rebuilt your body 98% to a higher standard. That's, by the way, why healing is possible, because the body is always turning over. So raise the standard if you want to be healthier. And so I was looking for information about how to heal myself, and I got stuck on oils because they were so contradictory and so confusing. So on the one hand, it says omega-6 is essential. You have to have it to live and be healthy. And the next study I read said omega-6 gives you cancer and kills you. And I'm going, what? How can it be I have to have it and then it kills me? And that contradiction made me look deeper into how oils are made. And I found out about the damage that is done to oils when they're made with shelf life in mind. About 1% of the molecules, half to 1% of the molecules are damaged. And in a tablespoon of an oil that is 1% damaged, you would get 60 quintillion damaged molecules. That's more than 1 million damaged molecules for every one of your body's 60 trillion cells. That's a lot of damaged molecules to put in your body. And I said, oh my God, I can't get healthy on oils like that. On top of that, there's pesticides on the oil. On top of that, they're in plastic and plastic leaches into the oil. On top of that, you put them in the frying pan and you damage them more by frying them. And then you do that for 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 years and you get cancer and you say, well, I don't know what happened. I always ate good, because you didn't know how much damage was done. And you've been taking it in, thinking that everybody cares about your health, when sometimes people don't care about your health. So when I realized that, I said, we need to make oils with health in mind. So I developed a method to make oils with health in mind, where they are protected from light, from oxygen, from heat, made from organically grown seeds, put in glass bottles, put a box around the bottle, put in the refrigerator, and then in the store, in the factory, when they're shipped for more than 2 weeks, they're shipped refrigerated. So this is like a lot of care needs to be taken for these very sensitive nutrients. More health problems come from damaged oils than any other part of nutrition. More benefits come from making an oil change that your body needs, from damaged oils to oils made with health in mind. And so then it developed the machinery and basically created an industry of making oils with health in mind. The first oil was flaxseed oil, but flaxseed oil is not well balanced. It has too little omega-6 in it. And so then I developed a blend that's called Udo's oil. And you find that in a brown glass bottle, in a box, in the fridge, in the supplement section, in the natural food stores. You can also find it on Amazon. And fundamentally, that's what we've been using. I use it myself every day, and it's part of the reason why at 81, and I'm not 81 yet. I'll be 81 in May. I have no ache in any of my joints. I don't have any swollen finger joints. You know how people get swollen joints. I don't have my finger turned over and I can't bend it. I literally have no aches or pains anywhere in my body, except when I bang into something. I still do that, but I still dance and I run and I use a trampoline and I still do gardening, and and I'm firing on at least 2 cylinders still. Right. So, and it's because I'm paying attention as much as possible. It's not just the oil. I also use lots of spices, including black seed and turmeric and ginger and garlic and cayenne and ashwagandha. And I mean, there's lots of really good spices that are exceptionally good for health. And the omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. And most of our degenerative diseases, including the mental and mood disorders, can come from inflammation in the brain. And so omega-3s block that inflammation when it's unnatural.
Wow. We're down to the last, I guess, 2.5 minutes of the show. And I just want to be cognizant that tell the people where they can get your product from again. You said that just in all of the natural food stores.
It's in the brown glass bottle, in a box, in the fridge, in the supplement section, in the natural food stores, and it's called Udo's Oil 369 blend. Yeah, and you basically you never ever use it for frying. You add it to foods after they come off the heat source. You're better off for health if you go back to cooking in water and then adding oil afterwards for enhancing flavors, because oils do that very well. And they enhance the absorption, they improve the absorption of oil-soluble nutrients that are important for your health.
Wow. I want to talk a little bit in the last minute or so about your book. You got a book, Fat That Heals, Fat That Kills.
It's called Fats That Heal, Fats That Kill. And
can you tell us a little bit about that and where they can get the book from? Because I know a lot of people are going to be interested in getting it.
Yeah, get it on Amazon. Fats That Heal, Fats That Kill. No comma. Fats That Heal, no comma. Fats That Kill. Fats That Heal, Fats That Kill. And what I'm working on now is I'm actually working on turning human nature and total health into teachable fields. And I think you and I, Dr. Cooley, should do another episode and just do it on that topic.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll reach out.
But only if you want to. But only if you want to.
To your peeps, and we'll set that up because this is extremely interesting. And wow, I mean, I learned so much. I'm sure our viewers learned so much from this. But we'll certainly reach out to Krista and let her set this up. But I tell our viewers, because we only got about 30, how can they get in touch with you? Again, I know website.
I have two websites, Udo's Choice, udoschoice.com. That's where the products are. I work with digestive enzymes and probiotics and greens as well. And then I have another one. It's called The Udo, THEUDO. And on that is more of the philosophical things and the whole human nature. And we've been living here for, I don't know how long, 200,000 years. And we still don't know who we are. And we don't study who we are. We know more about our watches and our devices than we know about ourselves. That's like, isn't that like stupid? Doesn't that need to stop? Don't we need to start to get to know ourselves? Same with total health, also based in nature and human nature. And we don't know what health is. Our healthcare system is a disease management system.
It's been an absolutely fantastic show. We out of time, but Udo, we're gonna look into having you back on.
All right, we'll talk about human nature.
Again, the executive producer and co-host, Dr. Michelle Cooley, for always putting together great shows.
Thank you, Dr. Michelle.
I'd like to thank our listeners for tuning in to the James Cooley Show. I always dream big, think big, and be big. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley.